Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting an update from Infinico Metals, a Canadian-listed company that trades on the Toronto Venture Stock Exchange under the symbol INFM. Joining us again today is Infinico's newly appointed CEO, Sam Walding. Sam, how are you doing today?
Yeah, hi Megan. I'm great, thanks.
Now, Sam, perhaps to start things off, could you give our listeners a brief overview of Infinico and your nickel projects in Quebec?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a few forward-looking statements to start. So Infinico Metals is a newly focused critical metals explorer. We're focused on nickel sulfides, so magmatic nickel, copper, cobalt within Quebec. The company has just refocused from its Burin gold projects. So this is a strategy of ours where we try and kill the project. Once we've drilled it, killed it, we move on, reposition the company, and then go full steam ahead. The company is looking specifically for magmatic nickel sulfide projects, which have a minimum size of around about 10 million tons at a minimum grade of 1% nickel. We put this number on these kind of discoveries and this type of deposit that we're exploring for, because we see that there's huge value to the market in these kinds of nickel sulfide deposits. They're easy to develop, you've got relatively low capexes, and you can get them from a discovery into a mine really quite quickly within the space of 2 to 5 years. So in terms of the projects that we've acquired in the company, we have two main projects, so the Dalhousie project and the Nicobi Project. Both of the projects are located within about 3 hours of the mining hub of Walding, so in sort of south mid Quebec, in the Abitibi region, both fully accessible by road and both very well connected in terms of infrastructure, electricity grids, and being able to progress the projects forward quickly.
Now let's start things off with your Nicobi project, where the company will commence a phase 1 drill program in early 2024. Can you walk us through the project and perhaps what attracted you to the opportunity here?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, Nicobi is just off to the northeast of Walding. So the nearest town is a place called Labelle. In terms of the project itself, we acquired the project and consolidated the claim block from a number of local prospectors in the area. It's the first time that the claim block has been consolidated for quite a number of years. What attracted us to the project is there were some really quite impressive nickel grades, so nickel sulfide grades and drilling that had previously been discovered there back in the 1960s. The project itself is hosted within a large mafic, ultramafic intrusive complex, and there's a series of nickel showings that expand over about a 2 to 2.5 kilometre strike length. So it immediately gives the project some scale and size potential. Furthermore, the drilling had only focused on the very southern or southeastern end of that line of nickel showings, and that's where all of this historic grid drilling and the high-grade nickel had previously been discovered. And along with those results, there's never really been any proper modern ground geophysics, ground EM, borehole EM that have been conducted around that area of drilling. So there's a lot of upside and there's a lot of work that can be done on the project to add size, add scale, and add new discoveries of nickel sulfide in the area.
So the company has a clear near-surface target for this next phase of exploration. Can you discuss this target and some of the historical results that you've been working through in preparation for the phase 1 drilling?
Yeah, sure. So the map on the right-hand side here, this is the overall claim block that we're looking at. The line of golden stars are the nickel showings over the 2.5 kilometre strike length that I mentioned. The area that I'll zoom into next, where all of the historic results are right down the very far right-hand end. Beyond that, this area hasn't really been explored. So in terms of historic results, the project was discovered by Noranda in the 1960s. Noranda grid drilled the project. So on the image on the right-hand side on the map, these are the red and white drill collars. They drilled to a maximum depth of about 100, 130 metres, but on average, only 50 to 80 metres depth. So it's not been explored to any great extent. Beyond that, there's been a number of operators which have come in, put small drill programs into the project, into the immediate area of mineralisation. And they've really pulled out some quite significant grades. So we're seeing nickel grades of up to 6.96% nickel, just under 15% copper, 0.16% cobalt. So we're immediately looking at an economic grade in this nickel system. As well as that, you've got some pretty significant drill intersects. So in the 1990s, the last drill campaign that was undertaken on this project, we were getting grades of 15.5 meters, just over 1% nickel. So really quite significant. It's completely open with no follow-up surface magnetics, electromagnetics or borehole electromagnetics. So again, a lot of work to be done and a lot of testing that we can do to try and expand this known mineralization.
Now, one thing that stands out to me is that historical holes ended in mineralization, giving the company an immediate drill target to test the extent of mineralization. Is there any particular reason why previous operators would not have followed up on the success?
I think back when this was discovered in the 1960s, the explorers were looking for something on a completely different scale. They were looking for the next Sudbury. And yeah, the drill holes here are reported as being logged with mineralization, still at depth below the models, below where we've modeled our historic work. And I think it's just a change and advancement in understanding in terms of nickel systems, how the mineralization can continue at depth, how it can chop and change direction, and how in particular electromagnetics can be used in the modern day, and modern techniques can be used to chase the extent of these systems that just weren't there in the past. So there's a slightly different type of thinking, I think, now in terms of the mineral system.
Now, for this upcoming phase 1 drilling, will Infinico be looking to just confirm the historic mineralization, or will we also see some step out drilling to test the extent of this target?
So there's a couple of things we're trying to achieve here, actually. So this ties in with, I'll skip forward a couple of slides to this image here. So this ties in with our recent press release, actually. The project itself has been defined by the historic drilling that I've mentioned. Beyond that, out to the west, there's a historic ground electromagnetic survey, which is this image on the screen. The image shows a conductive feature, which is highlighted in the bright pink, and it's open to the east towards where we are looking to drill, which is mapped by the surface footprint of the mineralization on that map. We're currently conducting a ground electromagnetic survey over the existing mineralization and tying in with that historic geophysics survey. So firstly, this will help guide our drilling in January. But in terms of what we're actually looking to achieve with the drilling, it's to test the known mineralization. So we want to be able to confirm the existing grade, the existing style of mineralization, and get a full suite of assays through the mineralized body. And this will help us to understand the system. Secondly, we want to be able to understand the bottom edge of the modeled mineralization as seen on the screen. So this cross section is showing our planned holes. This will help us chase it to depth. Thirdly, we want to be able to try and test the body at depth. There's never been a drill hole underneath this mineral system at any great depth. So we'll be trying to drill at least 150 to 200 meters deeper than has ever been drilled here before. And then finally, with the use and combination of electromagnetics and geophysics, we'll be trying to identify new zones of mineralization, either off the existing body, off drill holes, or at depth elsewhere in the intrusive body. So there are a few new things here we're trying to do rather than just drilling the existing known mineralized block.
So you've got a busy few months ahead of you.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Yeah, so the we'll finish off the geophysics survey that's ongoing at the moment. We've got all of the drilling planned, signed and ready to go. So we'll be looking at bringing in the drill rig early January. So then hopefully we can start putting some holes into the ground, pulling out some mineralization and reporting some results sometime in February 2024.
Okay. And to cap things off, are there any final thoughts on Infinico that you'd like to leave with the investment community?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got two very exciting projects in Quebec, brilliant place to work, just north of Val d'Or. The Nicobi Project has got a clear way forward. We've got a way to advance the project, generate really high quality drill targets and add to our existing drill targets through geophysics. We've got a drill rig turning up in early January, which is a clear catalyst and a clear point in time where we can really show the markets that we're trying to test and build on the known mineralization and identify more scale and new styles of mineralization on that project. And then beyond that, we've got our pipeline with the Dalhousie project, another nickel sulfide project nearby, which we're working up in the background, hoping to bring online sometime mid-2024. So it's going to be a busy few months. There's lots of news going to be coming out, I think, out of the company, and hopefully we can show the markets what we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Sam, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to having you back on again soon for the next Infinico update.
Great. Thank you very much, Megan. Good to speak to you.